Good Tuesday morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us so much this morning. I'm meteorologist Johnny Lively, and we're going to take a look at what's going on this morning. Not much on the Tamco Live Doppler radar, but we are going to talk about what's going on with Tropical Storm Bertha just in a second. You can see on our radar, it is awfully quiet here across this morning or this region this morning. You can see a little bit of radar noise over there towards Lake Charles, but that's really kind of about all that we're dealing with. It is going to be a pretty hot day today, especially coming up tomorrow as well, too. But if we zoom out, we can find some of the showers and thunderstorms. There's that spin. That is Tropical Storm Bertha. It's bringing rounds of showers and thunderstorms into portions of the western coastline of Florida. Haven't seen any flash flooding just yet. All of the heaviest rain is well offshore, and it's likely going to keep doing this throughout its whole span of time. There it is on the satellite radars. Thanks for a sponsor of Tamco, Helgar beyond Class 4. You can see Bertha is spinning, but dry air is definitely still giving it a hard time. There is no well-defined center. You can find it actually spinning on the satellite, but there's just no storms around the center thanks to all the dry air. We still have that dry air in the mid to upper levels here in our region. That's one of the reasons we are so dry today and especially tomorrow as well too. Looking what's going on in the tropics, this is Tropical Storm Bertha. You can see here it is really not that well defined. You do see some showers and thunderstorms, lots of showers and thunderstorms. I mean, this is pretty heavy rainfall. If this was inland, this would cause lots of problems. But this is right now watering all the fishies, and we've been talking about this. Will not be your typical average tropical system where you see everything over here towards the east and getting into the northeast. Everything will be further towards the south, getting into the southwest. So everything is shoved further away from the United States and the Gulf Coast, which is good. But as we start getting into later this afternoon, this evening, you can see by Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon, this will be very close to really the mouth of the Mississippi, getting into portions of, I would say, just keep it simple, New Orleans general region by Wednesday afternoon. This is actually when we see the best potential for Bertha to try to do something. Maybe it gets up to 60-mile-per-hour wind speeds, but as this kind of inches its way closer to New Orleans, this is when we really see this having a hard time, really staying organized. I mean, it's already having a hard time because of dry air. By Wednesday afternoon, dry air, wind shear, and now land interaction will give this a hard time, and then it's going to continue giving it a hard time. In fact, again, keep saying it, it probably looks scary, but it actually will move right into our region Thursday night getting into Friday morning, but notice the winds continue to decrease and weaken because this system just is going to have a hard time. By the time it makes landfall in southeast Louisiana, it's just going to have a hard time with the dry air, the wind shear, and the land interaction. So even though it's coming right at us, all the heaviest rain is going to be well offshore region. And even though it looks like it's going right into portions of the Texas, hill country, central Texas, this looks scary. Just got 20 to 30 inches of rain. None of this will be a problem for them. They might see an isolated shower at best. Other than that, it is hot over here in the state of Texas. Where we will see the potential for tropical storm force wind gusts, again, it depends how close it gets, but it would be from New Orleans to Mobile to Pensacola, but a lot of this likely is going to stay offshore. I think that's going to be the strongest winds we see out of this whole event, and that's really going to be about it. Again, the heaviest winds, the strongest winds, the heaviest rain is going to be centered more so offshore. I just don't see this being a big problem. Here we are looking at our temperatures. This is really going to be the biggest problem for us. It's not right now. It is warm, muggy, and sticky. We see middle to upper 70s. You can find some 80s already this morning thanks to our sponsor, Silsby Ford, but it's going to continue cranking up later this afternoon. And this brings us to our outdoor construction forecast. Watch those temperatures really take off like a rocket. It's going to get into the 90s quickly. In fact, we top out into the upper 90s to pretty much near 100 degrees this afternoon, so definitely take some breaks. We have no relief from the heat, so definitely stay cool if possible today and especially tomorrow as well, thanks to Modern Concrete letting us know what's going on today. Looking at the Futurecast, sponsored by HB Neal, you can see that's where Tropical Storm Bertha will really be by this evening, getting into Wednesday, and that's where it's going to have a hard time. You see all the showers and thunderstorms are well offshore, dry air and wind shear, and now land interaction will definitely give this a hard time. Continues moving westward because of the area high pressure, but it doesn't really matter for us here in southeast Texas. All the heaviest rain and biggest impacts will be well offshore. We might see some higher tides over here in parts of our coastline, but that's really kind of it. Big story is this area high pressure making us hot today, tomorrow, and really throughout the rest of the week. We'll see some showers, maybe some isolated storms from Bertha. That's really about it. Lots of deep tropical moisture into sections of New Orleans and Pensacola, so they'll see the rounds of showers and thunderstorms. And then we start seeing a little bit of that moisture Wednesday, but we really start seeing it Thursday and Friday. That's the potential for some of the showers, maybe an isolated storm. But notice we don't see a ball. We don't see a tropical system at all. It looks to really get stretched because of the dry air, especially this weak frontal boundary. That's just going to stretch Bertha out, and it's just not going to allow it to be much of anything. So by Wednesday getting into Thursday, you're mainly just going to see moisture spreading from Corpus Christi all the way into portions of the deep south, even into the Carolinas, really right along that weak frontal boundary. So Bertha is just not a problem for us here locally. We'll keep watching it. No problem at all. In fact, you can see that here on the Rainfall Outlook, sponsored by Switch Electric. Here we are going into really about a 5 to 10% coverage as some clouds and moisture start pushing into southwest Louisiana and portions of southeast Texas on Wednesday. And then we'll see that kind of continue off and on Thursday and Friday. I think the heaviest rainfall off towards the east, well offshore Thursday and Friday. And then by this weekend, this 10% coverage, this might not even be associated with Bertha. This is really just kind of some lingering moisture and that weak frontal boundary kind of keeping the chance for 5 to 10% coverage. I'd say this weekend we probably stay pretty dry. So this rainfall outlook is not scary by any means, just letting you know what we're looking at. Not going to show you a future cast for today here in our neck of the woods. It's dry. If we see a shower or a storm, coverage less than 2%. It's going to be a hot day today and tomorrow. What we will watch is Bertha. Again, you can see a pretty nice center here. There's just no storms around it. So you do see a nice healthy core, no storms. So I just don't expect anything strengthening out of this. You're going to see the heaviest rain well towards the south, well towards the southwest. So again, here we are, pretty decent core, but again, doesn't matter too much. Might see some breezy winds, tropical storm force gusts along portions of Mobile to Pensacola, Florida, as we get into Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, Wednesday around lunch. But again, the heaviest rain looks to be well offshore. Could start getting into portions of the eastern coast of Florida. But again, look at the center making landfall Wednesday into Thursday. And then this is where we really see Bertha having a hard time doing anything now. Dry air, wind shear, land interaction. Where's the center? It's pretty much gone by Thursday. Now we just got a little bit of moisture that's pushing into portions of southeast Texas, southwest Louisiana. So that's when we have the chance for these showers, maybe an isolated storm. And again, look at the moisture field. You can see it's definitely been stretched. There's no ball. There's no system. There's nothing organized. It's just some moisture that's kind of stretched right along that weak frontal boundary. So we'll see some isolated to really scattered, almost numerous getting into sections of the deep south. But over here in southeast Texas, southwest Louisiana, coverage really around 20%, maybe it gets up to 30%. Not really seeing too much of anything from Tropical Storm Bertha, and that's exactly what we want to see. Rainfall totals, again, probably going to stay well offshore towards our east. Areas like New Orleans and into section of southeast Louisiana definitely want to watch for 4 to 6 inches of rain. I'm not saying that's impossible. It can happen from these areas right along the coastline, but the biggest concerns are going to be well offshore. This is, again, thanks to our sponsor of Switch Electric, letting us know what's going on in the rainfall department. Today is going to be hot, upper 90s to pretty much several areas, getting close to 100 degrees, if not getting at 100 degrees, down towards the coast into the low 90s, some areas getting close to the mid 90s, thanks to our sponsor of Silsby Ford. Get you one. No relief from the heat today, and then this evening, look at this, 80s. Upper 70s, 80s, air conditioned, going to be working overtime tonight and going to continue really the next several days. But that's what we feel this time of year. 7-day forecast for southeast Texas, 100 degrees today, tomorrow, even into Thursday. Tropical Storm Bertha giving us a chance for some isolated showers, maybe a storm or two. Coverage really about 20%. Worst case scenario, maybe getting up to 30%. And this weekend, we stay pretty much mostly hot, mostly dry. Might see an isolated shower or two, but that's really kind of just about it. Nothing too scary for Tropical Storm Bertha. Same thing for southwest Louisiana. You get a little bit better moisture because you're closer towards Bertha, but still, we're going to see the temperatures into the upper 90s to near 100 degrees, mostly hot, mostly dry today, and then we start seeing a little bit of the rain chances moving in on Wednesday, Thursday, and then moving out by Friday and into the weekend. I think the biggest story this week continues to be the heat instead of Tropical Storm Bertha. But still, good time to go download our free Gulf Coast Weather Solutions app. You can track the temperatures, track Bertha. You can see what's going on Thank you all so much for tuning in to the Tuesday morning show. Thank you all for our sponsors for allowing us to have Gulf Coast Weather Solutions and to have all of these updates. So thanks to everybody for tuning in. Thanks to our sponsors, and have a good Tuesday. Please stay hydrated. It's going to be a hot, hot day.
Gulf Coast Weather Solutions is sponsored by
We don't know what the weather is going to be like around here. I do get really anxious during storms.
That's why they chose HailGuard. When performance leads, confidence follows. Backed by the first and only asphalt shingle system with a hail warranty.
That just gives us more peace of mind.
This is the only asphalt product on the market that has the manufacturer warranty targeting the hail damage, and it gives me a lot of confidence as a contractor.
Engineered for enhanced impact performance. Built to protect homes and reputations. HailGuard shingles. Built for hail.